You know, nowadays, if you're white, it's so easy to be considered a racist. You don't even need to try. It's so easy that you don't even have to do or say anything racist at all, and you could still be considered a racist. This next story is evidence of that. So apparently a 5th grade boy said that some newscaster who was visiting his school looked like Barack Obama. He said to a buddy of his, "Hey look, President Obama is visiting us." Now a lot of people were thinking the same thing, but it was just this one kid who actually said something about it. So what happens next is that word got around about his comment, and the daughter of the newscaster found out about what he said. Then a teacher was summoned. Then the principal. And the superintendent were all called to action to deal with this matter. Because apparently, what he said was somehow racist because it somehow implied that all black men look alike. To that I just have to say, what? 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 How does his comment imply that? Isn't it clear that he doesn't think all black men look alike? I mean, if he thought all black men looked the same, then why of all black people did he say Barack Obama? I mean, if he really thought all black men looked alike, he'd say, "Hey, that newscaster looks like any other black man." But he said Obama specifically because that's who he thought he looked like! He said he looked like Barack Obama. That's more of a compliment than anything else. It's not like he said, "Hey, that newscaster looks a lot like that bum I know from the bus stop." And yet if he did, so what? He said he looked like him, not that he was like him. I mean, I think one of my brothers looks like Matthew Broderick, and my dad looks like Danny DeVito. Does that mean I think all white people look alike? I walk around a mostly white neighborhood and see nothing but Danny DeVitos and Matthew Brodericks walking around? Saying this would not make me come off as a racist. And if a person who wasn't white thought my dad looked like Danny DeVito, that person would not be racist either. I also think this guy from the Bruce Springsteen music video looks like Wesley Snipes. I've crossed the line with that one. What does it mean to be racist against a particular race? It means you think that race is inferior. So how does saying one particular person looks like this other particular person imply that he feels that an entire race of people is inferior? It doesn't. School officials say that it wasn't what he said, it was how he said it.
Not what you said, it's just the way you said it.
Which is pretty miraculous considering how they weren't even around when he said it. And in what way could he have said it? In a joking way? I mean, who wouldn't laugh if they saw somebody who looked like a celebrity? It doesn't mean you were laughing at them personally, you were just laughing at the resemblance. I mean, when I worked at Wallbums, there was one guy I worked with who looked a lot like Keith Hernandez. Some customers would come in who also looked like celebrities, and my friend and I would just say to each other, "Hey look, Drew Carey's going down aisle 5, or Mike Ditka's at customer service, or George Lopez is by deli." Except the George Lopez lookalike heard my friend say this, and he didn't look too happy to say the least, but that's another story. But anyway, we weren't laughing at these people, we were laughing at the situation. So anyway, it turned out that the person who told the newscaster's daughter about the 5th grader's comment didn't like him too much. So she shouted racism to get him in trouble. This story kind of reminds me of what the NAACP did last year. Yes, I know this happened quite a while ago, but it is related, and I always wanted to say something about this. It pissed me off back then, and it pisses me off now. So here we go. Now, for those who don't already know the story, Hallmark had a talking graduation card that was about astronomy, and when you opened it, it said this.
"Hey world, we're officially putting you on notice! Yeah! You better watch out, because this graduate here, kicking rear and taking names! This graduate's gonna run the world, run the universe, and run everything after that, whatever that is. And you black holes, you're so ominous! Congratulations! How's my taking over the world? And you planets, watch your back.
So it's just an innocent little card, so what's the problem? Well, apparently the NAACP in their active imaginations had an issue with it.
A graduation card sold at local stores has been pulled from shelves after a civil rights group raised concerns about the content. The group claims the card's micro speaker plays a greeting that's racist. And Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez explains why this card has come under attack.
It is a graduation greeting from Hallmark.
Hey world, we're officially putting you on notice! Yeah!
Members of the Los Angeles NAACP did take notice, and as characters known as Hoops and YoYo banter on, African-American leaders hear demeaning language.
And you black holes, you're so ominous! And you planets, watch your back.
That was very demeaning to African-American women, where they made reference to African-American women as whores.
No, they didn't!
It says, watch your back.
And they told the planets to watch their back. They didn't say black holes watch your back.
Solar system and the power of the grad to take over the universe, even energy-absorbing black holes.
The intent here is to say this graduate's not afraid of anything.
But that is not what was heard here.
And you hear the R in there, which is whores and not holes. The R is in there.
No, it's not. Get your hearing checked.
Transcript. But Minnie Hatley says the actual audio raises questions.
It sounds like a group of children laughing and joking about blackness. Again.
Hallmark is now notifying all its stores to pull the card. Walgreens and CVS are doing the same. The card maker says the card has been out for 3 years. This is the first time they've received a complaint.
So this card has been around for 3 years before the NAACP came along last year and said that the card was racist. Because to them, it sounded like black whores. Wait a minute.
You hear the R in there, which is whores and not holes. The R is in there.
This one says she heard black whores.
He called Hallmark himself, and then they were telling him this black hole thing. And
But this one said he heard black hoes.
the black hole, where they made reference to African American women as whores.
Well, which is it? You can't even get your story straight. I mean, if you're going to lie, at least be consistent with it. And why would they say either of those in a graduation card that's talking about astronomy anyway? Get a clue! Now, rather than saying, oh, this card isn't really racist, it's just a misunderstanding on our part, they successfully got the card pulled. They held a press conference before it got pulled. Let me play you some clips of that.
The manufacturers of the card are going to say, well, this is about the solar system. This is a solar system themed card. We're trying to say black holes. Unfortunately, if 5 out of 10 people open this card and they hear black hole, we have a problem. So it doesn't matter what you intended for it to mean, it is how it is interpreted.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was actually racist or not. What really matters is our imaginations. We can't even use words that sound like words that are offensive.
And if a young girl, whether they be black or white or Latino, opens this card and they hear black hoe and not black hole, we have a problem.
Yeah, I guess that would be a problem. Because that girl that you're talking about would have no common sense. And that's a big problem.
Hallmark was distributing and selling a card that referred to African American women as black whores.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right, yeah. Now that I think about it, that makes perfect sense to put on a graduation card. I thought it was about space and black holes. What an idiot I was.
And used the word animus, which basically means evil. And at the end of the card, it says, and watch your back. I would like to take this opportunity to play the card for you first and then continue my comments.
I love how they're all, there it is, as if to say, yeah, Hallmark, we got you where we want you. You're busted now. You have no case. All you've done is prove that the card is not racist. It clearly says black holes.
And for those of you who might think that this card is related to the universe and the solar system and the dark holes in the solar system,
think again. Hallmark is part of this big conspiracy to turn our graduates into racists.
that is certainly not the case. Because on the front of the card, if you cannot read it now, it says, you are graduating, well then, it's time to let the world know what's coming. When you talk about letting the world know what's coming, you're talking about the graduates. You're not talking about something that is inanimate.
It's just a graduation card! It does nothing! It said nothing! It's not racist!
We want a public apology from Hallmark. We want a public apology from Hoop and YoYo. We want a public apology from Walgreens and CVS. If we don't get that, we'll take the next step.
Yep.
Amen.
What nerve to demand an apology? Yeah, apologize to us for not being racist at all. It's somehow your fault that we only hear what we want to hear.
I purchased the card, what's it, 27?
27.
Yes. After I was told about the card in Chicago, I wanted to hear it for myself, so I purchased it. There was about 4 or 5 at Walgreens when I purchased mine. It's, you know, the more I hear it, the angrier I get, and the comments and things being said that it doesn't say what we think it says. That's, you know, we need to do something about this. We need for this thing to be taken out of circulation. Bottom line, you know, nothing less.
Hi, my name is Wilma Wilson, and I'm a lifetime member with the NAACP, and I'm here with our president from the Carson Torrance branch. I'd like to say that I believe that Hallmark used its freedom of speech to incite fighting words, and I think that this card needs to be removed. And I believe in my spirit and in my soul, I see all the ladies wearing "Respect Me." We need to be respected, not only as African American women, but as women in general. Thank you.
There was no mention of women at all in this card. None whatsoever. You know, what frustrates me the most is the fact that Hallmark caved. They actually pulled the card. The card wasn't even racial, let alone racist. But because of a misunderstanding on the part of the NAACP, they pulled it. Hallmark should have put their foot down and said, no, there's no reason to pull this card because it said absolutely nothing racist. But the moment they pulled the card off the shelves, they labeled themselves as racist and that they did do something wrong. I mean, look at some of the Father's Day cards that are out there. Here's one with the man sleeping on a hammock with the grass so tall that it's practically burying the lawnmower. It's showing a man sleeping and not getting anything done. Here's another Father's Day card with Dad's Guide to Grilling, portraying a man doing the stereotypical drinking beer, screaming loudly, and injuring himself and having to order pizza. Now, you'll never hear about how cards like these are hurtful to the male gender and just play off negative male stereotypes. Just try to do that and people will laugh at you and say, what, you can't take a joke? Lighten up. But if there was a Mother's Day card where a woman is vacuuming, messes that up, and has to call a maid, feminist groups have the power to immediately get that card pulled. The card company would be, you're right, how insensitive of us. And the NAACP can say, hey, this card is racist just because we say it is. And the card company will say, yes, now that you put it that way, you're right, we were wrong, sorry. It sickens me how certain groups of people like the NAACP and feminists have the power to literally complain about nothing and completely get their way. But there are other groups of people out there who have legitimate concerns and they get completely ignored. When will everybody get their act together?